Okay. Well, I've got the forward half of the landing gear done. I haven't done the trailing struts yet. You can see we have the airfoil shaped strut housings or strut sleeves installed. Got the airfoil, the wider point at the front, the trailing edges, the skinny part. So anyway, there's that. The top of the struts is wrapped with cardstock to simulate the upper oleo sheath that would be present on either side. This suspension is non-functional, so that's not an actual oleo there. But I'm thinking, I think I've got the geometry right. It looks like it. I hope, anyway. It looks pretty good. Stance looks okay. So anyway, the next step will be to put the trailing arms in. They'll go to this secondary bulkhead that you can see. If we count the first bulkhead as the one where the forward struts intersect with the side keel, then the next available former is where the secondary struts will be anchored, and they'll just run out to that location just behind the intersection of the forward pair of struts. And they'll be I think what I'll do there is use the piano wire cores and sleeves, airfoil sleeves, just as I have on the lower struts there. And we'll get that done, and we'll put in a tail wheel here at the back, and then the airplane will be standing up. But there's the finished effort on or at least the beginning is finished on the landing gear, if that makes sense. So masking and painting is going to be a bit problematic. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. But there was no other way. In other words, I couldn't have just fabricated this all and then broken it down and painted and then reassembled, because the assembly of the geometry on the struts was just too difficult. It had to be installed, completely installed prior to paint. It just wouldn't have worked any other way. It's unfortunate. I like to be able to mask and then paint separately. But as you can see, we look pretty good. Now the nose block, the wood I used, I didn't have it with the grain square. The grain runs at an angle, so if it looks a little catawampus, it's because that grain isn't perfectly horizontal. It's at an angle, and that kind of it gives an optical illusion of catawampusness. But hopefully, when we get it all together, it'll be apparent that that's not a real issue. If we put the motor on, I guess that helps. Now we can see we've got pretty square assembly. Time will tell. Getting the wing on square and the tail feathers and lining everything up for right angles and parallelism and squareness and fairness, that still has yet to come. So I've got a few hairs left to tear out of my head. Not too many, but I'll save them for that part of the project. And then there's the whole demarcation, the decals. That's going to be fun with this airplane, and painting it, masking it and painting it. Lots of fun yet to come, but it's moving along. And I think the landing gear, for me, looks like it came out so far so good. All right, I think what I'll do is I'll work on the trailing struts on camera. So I know it feels like we might have missed something when I worked on that without the camera, and I apologize for that. It's just when I'm really concentrating, I don't like to be thinking about. And that's the wrong way. That's the wrong approach. I need to be recording the effort I'm putting in on every step. We haven't built landing gear like this quite. I guess the Stearman project was similar, but somehow this feels a lot more involved, and I think it's because the fairings have to be straight. And if we look at the airplane from the bottom, I think you can see that they're parallel and straight. At least I hope so. From this angle, parallel and straight, top-down view. I don't know if you can, because of the weird lighting in here, I don't know if you can see that the fairings run parallel and square to the fuselage. Hopefully that comes out on the camera angle here. I don't know if it will or not. At any rate, thanks for viewing, and as I said, I think I'll do the trailing struts on camera so we can capture all the 5-star swearing that I do later.